Welcome back to my series, Dance Mums Uncovered. This is the 50th episode of Dance Mums Uncovered, and to celebrate, I thought it would be a good idea to correct some of my mistakes and to elaborate on the topics from my very first episodes of this series. Because there was much more to Dance Mums than the producers cared to show. Feel free to share your thoughts on the following evidence. In this episode, I might have given Abby too much credit. Back then, I did not realise that Abby's favouritism was just as extreme off-camera as it was on the show. I admit that she could have been crying over Maddie forgetting her solo after all, although I still say it's possible that her mother had a health scare towards the end of the competition. I mentioned before that Abby might have requested time off between seasons 2 and 2.5 due to her mother's condition. However, since I now know that the producers didn't even give her time off after she had knee surgery, I suspect that most of the breaks in the show were pre-planned. In terms of whether the producers had any hand in making Maddie forget her solo, I discuss this further in Dance Mums Uncovered Season 2, Episode 1. The production notes give some further clarity to the day that Kendall screamed at Ashley. They confirm that Jill and Kendall were indeed heading to an audition, although the mums also point out that the bickering this day was also a result of conflict that had been building up for the past few weeks. During Pyramid, Ashley was apparently saying that it was the idea of the competition being rigged that was all over social media. She seems to be accusing the mums of planting this idea in the minds of their fans. So if this is all she said, why did Kendall get so upset? There is a clip of Kendall online where she claims that Ashley was saying that she was a bad dancer. She had not been picked at a dance convention the night before Pyramid, and Ashley said that she wasn't chosen because she is not a good dancer. Unfortunately, this video was made private like 2 days before I began to edit this video, so now I don't have access to it anymore. I should hopefully be able to find some evidence that Kendall did do a convention the night before, and if I find it, I'll put it up right here. The judges page I mentioned in my video could have been a simple list that was written after the judges had written and compared more detailed notes. So this isn't exactly a super compelling piece of evidence. Shelby, the Twitter user I mentioned in this episode, was a cheerleader who met and spoke to Brooke at a meet and greet. Her story seems to be backed up by all the evidence I have gathered so far. Apparently Brooke told her that she tried out for FCA Cheer, which was an all-star cheer team. This means that they compete all year and it is not affiliated with a school. However, the show wouldn't let her cheer due to the contract she had on the show. This means that the tryouts held at the school gym were staged later on.
Somehow Brooke came over, I'm not exactly sure how, and so again, I said I was a cheerleader, and so we were talking to Brooke about that. Brooke told us that she tried out for a gym called FCA, and she made diamonds. You know, she made it, but the show wouldn't let her cheer. The tryout that was shown on TV was not her real cheer tryout. So that was in a high school gym, and FCA and competitive cheer, that's all like private programs.
Finally, in the production notes from season 1, Kelly and Brooke visit a sports psychologist. Here they mentioned that Brooke has already tried out for cheerleading, and that it wasn't really her thing. This visit occurred on the 28th of July, so it is very possible that she first tried cheerleading during or even before season 1. I stand by what I said in this video. There are so many other instances of ways that Chloe was mistreated by Abby, I couldn't possibly list them all here. Be sure to check out the production notes from season 4, because it seems like there is a new dig directed at Chloe every week. In the same binder that the season 5 production notes were stored, there was a list of dance ideas that the producers had come up with for the season. These included a pitch-perfect dance with a live performance, something with a cross that they wanted to be offensive, a sad clown suicide dance, the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, Star Wars or Guardians of the Galaxy, Game of Thrones with someone getting beheaded, a Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan duet, The Plague, childhood obesity with an overweight dancer, Crush about girl crushes, Cancer Ward, The Walking Dead, Burning Man, Freaky Friday where the girls act like their mum's worst trait, a lesbian marriage dance, Frozen, Madonna voguing, a dark cabaret number, and a number with a live animal, possibly to the Wizard of Oz. Towards the end of the video, it seems like I blame the producers entirely for all the inappropriate ideas, but I now believe that Abby could have had some sort of say in the routines she put on stage, maybe more than she wanted others to believe. Maddie recently admitted that she regrets not being happy for Mackenzie when she beat her. I'm sure Maddie was put in a really tough spot that day, because she would have been under a lot of pressure to not look upset, since the editors are very good at making people look miserable.
We did a competition and she beat me. She got first place and I got second. And at the time, of course, I was a little butthurt because I was like, I wanted to win. But now looking back, like, she deserved it so much, and it shows that she is like so capable on her own and she doesn't need to be like me to win.
In the production notes, Holly and Christi seemed to think that Maddie was exaggerating her injury because she was upset about the game. In her interview, Maddie told the producers that she hurt her face and scraped her knee when she was pushed into the side of the pool. After the game, Abby brought out a cake she had gotten for Maddie, since she was undefeated that season, and Holly pointed out that her mood changed drastically. Lots of people noticed that Maddie was clutching below her knee, when the bruise I pointed out was above her knee. In Maddie's defense, when you're hurt, your first reaction isn't always to put pressure on where it hurts. It's true that Melissa pointed to under her knee, but she wouldn't necessarily know where Maddie was hurt. So was she really hurt? Maybe. When young kids are already frustrated about losing a game, it can take only the smallest of injuries to send them into a meltdown. Looking at the production notes, it's true that Abby only had around 15 minutes to shoot the headshots for each girl. After taking a few headshots, a producer tells her how much time she has left to shoot, and Abby gets really angry, storming out of the room and saying that the producer should just do it themselves. The production notes even recommend that this should be edited to look like Abby got fed up with the mums. Abby then called her attorney, complaining about the headshot situation and other instances where she believes she has been cheated out of money. While all this happened, Nia shot most of her photos, and then Abby guided the other girls through theirs. Holly actually said that not having Abby was great, because Nia was able to relax. These notes also confirmed that Abby was really saying that Kalani, Maddie and Mackenzie were the only ones who were going to book jobs, and this line was not just taken out of context like she claimed. The production notes confirm without any doubt that Brooke qualified and competed alongside Maddie in the pageant during Season 1, Episode 8. Cathy has confirmed that she was forced to go into the dressing room by production, and like I've mentioned before, Cathy was sometimes forced back into the dressing room when she didn't cause enough drama. On other occasions, Cathy really didn't want to go into the dressing room at all, but was pushed to go in by production. Cathy revealed that she always had to sit behind Abby, and that the producers would text her to say particular things in the audience.
They, as the cameramen and producers, are standing there pushing me back in. You have to go back in. It wasn't long enough. We don't have enough content.
Right.
So when I walked back in, that's when she threw water on me.
Oh my God, Abby, if you knew the times on my end of the line where I would say, I'm not going in. I'm absolutely not going in. They won, or the rare occasions that we won.
And push you and push you and push you.
Yeah. The format was I had to constantly sit behind you. And, them texting to say, get in her ear, say this, say that.
Cathy says that she didn't do her own choreography on the show because her studio was open in the afternoons to actual clients, and so the choreographers had to be able to work with her students while the classes were still going on. Cathy says that Vivi always liked dance, and that she didn't do a lot of it on the show because Cathy was shielding her. There was an instance recorded where Vivi began to cry because she wanted to perform on stage.
I could not do my own choreography, and that was my choice. They would come to the dance studio and they would film. And at 3 o'clock, I had to shut down everything because I had to go pick Vivi up. Then they would pack up and they would go, and the kids would either go back to the hotel and they would work on their dance. Well, I couldn't go back to the hotel and work on the dance with them because I was at the dance studio teaching.
About Vivi not liking dance. She always liked dance.
I just didn't want her dancing for Abby.
Cathy has, however, been called out as being racist by some of her former team members. She even said on Instagram that she doesn't see colour at all. I delved into this whole situation in much more detail in Season 2, Episode 12 of Dance Moms Uncovered. Eliana says that there weren't that many people at the competitions they attended. The producers would coach people to sit in one clustered area and stage their cheering. There were many instances where audience members sat on stage too. It wasn't just the 1 week I talked about.
Oh, there's so many people.
No, they make it look like that. Everybody has to scoot in. They don't pan past this, and what they do right before awards, what one of the producers does is she's gonna be like, okay guys, let's give like a slow clap and like a few woos, and then when she's standing up, then they do standing ovation. So all the applause is fake.
Christi has said on her podcast that she thinks the producers knew who would win Season 2 Nationals, although the producer she interviews in that episode tries to deny it. Similarly, Cathy was given a victory cake with Abby's face on it by production. Cathy believes that the producers knew she would win because someone had told her that she would.
I think you knew that Chloe beat Maddie at Nationals. I don't know how I think that you knew that. Maybe I'm making that up in my brain. But you said to me something, you were like, you were so upset, and I just wanted to be like, hey, it'll be okay.
But yeah, no, I don't remember us ever knowing what would happen.
I was given a cake by production to take in to the dressing room. How did they know that we were going to win? Do you think that it was planned? There was some kind of comment made to me that you know you're going to win this week.
And one thing you really have to remember is that all of these competitions were under contract with Collins Avenue. The owner of Sheer Talent, for instance, is one of Abby's really good friends. He even went to the UK with her.
Abby's friend, you may recognise him from Dance Moms. I'm going to put a picture of him, but he owns a dance competition in America called Sheer Talent, and he's one of Abby's really good friends, so he was on the trip with us.
Kira has claimed that an organiser at Sheer Talent once told her that some hip-hoppers were brought in to compete against the ALDC. Lots of people have insisted in the comments of my video that Star Dance Alliance competitions are completely legitimate. The point I was trying to make in that episode was that the producers make it look like the ALDC attended a wider variety of competitions by competing at several of the events owned by the same company. Gianna, the organiser of Energy, spoke out about her experiences with the production company on Facebook. She says that she was contacted only 48 hours before the event. The producers tried to get their numbers to run earlier than they were scheduled. Other people she has spoken to have said similar things. Energy ended up banning the ALDC from future events, which clearly didn't last very long. Abby says that she feels forgotten and used by the mums. Apparently, Cathy texted Abby after an interview she did recently, wishing her all the best. It seems that they have recently gotten back into contact when they filmed a video chat together. They were very friendly with one another and discussed their experiences on the show.
So it's good to be involved, to be, not forgotten. Oh, well, we used you. We're famous now. We don't need you anymore.
She did an interview for Entertainment Tonight, and I reached out to her, and I sent her a text this week just telling her that, I was sending her good vibes because she still is not, really out of her wheelchair.
One of the things that Abby really seems to hate about Christi is that she thinks she is money hungry. Abby suggests that Chloe was invited to the ALDC masterclasses, but Christi insists that they weren't. Abby seems to believe that Christi wanted to make more money by doing her masterclasses separately. She says that the Pittsburgh mums who were toasting to her sentencing were dirt poor before the show, and that they used their kids' money to build a new house.
There were people who made a lot of money from Dance Moms, who built a new house.
Mm-hmm.
They were dirt poor, they came from nothing. They were toasting champagne when I was sentenced. It's sick.
Why is it Chloe here?
I have every email, I have every text message of inviting her to take part in the Abby Against Company events. They choose not to. Sadly, sometimes the child never knows that she was invited. Her mother either doesn't respond, doesn't react, or says no, then turns around and tells the kid, you weren't invited.
The judge for Abby's bankruptcy case believed that Abby was a wannabe reality TV star until he saw a commercial for Abby's Ultimate Dance competition on TV. It was not, in fact, after watching the scene where she empties her bag as I had suggested. In this same document, it is claimed that there is proof of minors helping her transport money from Australia into the US. And the only minors travelling with Abby at the time were her students. Perhaps this is why Abby believes that Melissa got immunity to speak against her. Abby says she hates that one of the mothers stole from her, lied to her, and was with her mother every day in the hospice, acting as though she cared. This statement seems strongly directed towards Melissa.
I believe, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe that her mother got immunity to speak. When I see that one mother on the show who stole from me, who lied, who did this, who did that to me, and I see her with my mother sitting in that hospice room, I just cringe. I just get sick to my stomach. I can't even watch it.
Whether Abby abused students or not is absolutely not a matter of opinion, like I suggested. Abuse is still abuse. While it's true that some people had positive experiences with Abby, even if only one person had a harmful experience, they should be able to speak about it without being invalidated. I still stand by what I said in this episode, and there hasn't really been any new evidence brought to light on this topic. In regards to Abby saying that she thought that the competition was over when she stormed out, I don't think that's really the case anymore. I think the mums and Abby were well aware that they were leaving early. I also think that Abby absolutely has stayed at competitions that were clearly rigged in her favour. And lastly, the fact that the owner of the competition was a poker player has nothing to do with the competition being fake. I just thought it was a really interesting fact that I found. It turns out this all began when Nia assisted at an ALDC masterclass that Aubrey O'Day attended. Aubrey offered to help Nia with her music because Abby basically told everyone at the masterclass that she wasn't going to do music with Nia.
I was assisting a masterclass and Aubrey O'Day came to the masterclass and she was like, well, if you're really serious about doing music, like I will help you with it, because she saw that Abby wasn't going to help me. She saw that because Abby said that in the thing and on stage, basically in front of everybody.
Like I mentioned in the video, Abby claims that she attended meetings with Nia about her music. She claims that she bought songs for her which were never used. Well, as it turns out, the season 5 production notes reveal that Abby took the songs away from Nia. This is what Abby and Holly were arguing about in this infamous scene from season 5. Abby claims that this never happened, and Holly insists that it did. According to the season 5 production notes, Abby bribed Aubrey with $10,000 to not work with Nia. After Aubrey decided to work with Nia after all, she began to try and take opportunities away from Nia. For instance, Abby organised for every other member of the team to have a singing lesson besides Nia. Nia says that during her music video phase, she cried nearly every night.
I went off to do music on my own. That was a very hard time for me. Definitely, I cried like almost every night just because I felt so just excluded.
According to this email between producers, it seems like Aubrey and Mikey were indeed both paid by the Collins Avenue to work with Nia, although Holly was the one to first contact Aubrey. I concluded in my other video that the other mums were probably just sad that their kids could have gotten better opportunities if they had the same resources as Nia. But it is absolutely true that Jill and Melissa were blindly following Abby, no matter what. They shouldn't have felt betrayed that Holly was willing to do projects without Abby dominating them. Abby has said that she misses running around for costumes, so clearly having to do it all by herself didn't upset her as much as I thought it did.
I miss the creative aspect. I miss trying to scurry for the costumes.
I don't think that Kendall performed in the Silver Spoons dance during the competition anymore. I believe she probably just performed the group routine for the showcase. When dances are performed twice, both performances are filmed, but only the first is judged. The two takes are edited together and shown interchangeably. For instance, in Ava's solo drizzle, there were 2 different umbrellas, but they've edited it to make it look like one performance. Therefore, Kendall probably would have appeared and disappeared throughout the routine if she was really in it on this day. It's true that Nia wore an afro in a routine before the show, but Holly really didn't like the afro or the stereotyping in Nia's Laquifa solo. According to the mums, Abby sometimes kept costumes that they paid for. And according to Christi, Abby even took and sold some of the early costumes from Dance Mums on the internet.
Some of our earlier costumes, like, party, we don't have those because a certain person, if you will, took them and sold them on the internet or kept them, or they were given to somebody or lost somewhere.
Abby says that a producer took the contracts that all the kids in the studio signed with Abby, which stated that if she got them work, they needed to give Abby 10% of the profits. She believes that she should have gotten 10% of the pay that the kids on the show received, but the producers ripped her contracts and told her that she wouldn't need the 10% after the show aired.
All the kids in my studio signed a document that said if I got them work, that I got 10% of that. And I could have had 10% of those kids. And I should have. But a producer stood there and literally ripped the contracts in half and said, oh, you're going to be making so much money, you won't need these.
Abby recently stated that when she didn't cause enough drama, the network would tell her she wasn't doing her job. But if she crossed the line, she was fined and had to talk to a psychologist. Eliana has mentioned that Abby got paid more money if she created drama. It's unclear whether this rule existed throughout the show or just season 8.
I was getting paid to do a job, and if I didn't bring it, and I didn't cause the chaos, and I didn't stir the pot, I wasn't doing my job. And I was called in by the network. You have to do this, you have to do that. And then when I did my job, and I crossed the line, ooh, Abby said this, and we're gonna find her, and ooh, we have to talk to a psychologist, and blah, blah, blah.
Abby's actually not the mean one. She actually gets more money if she causes more drama. So, of course, she's gonna, do everything she can.
Kira says that the producers sent a cease and desist after they tried to pursue a great opportunity, which could have been the opportunity for a Claire's line that I've mentioned before.
These girls have this amazing opportunity coming out, and they send us a cease and desist letter.
Abby has hinted at the idea that Christi got herself and Chloe off the show by suing production. Some contracts have appeared on eBay from the same user who bought a storage unit full of Dance Mums memorabilia. They mostly detail the working hours and conditions for the kids, but there is also a contract for using Abby's studio as a set for the show. Abby says her favourite season to film was season 8, because the cast watched the show, knew what to expect, and wanted to be there. This suggests that the cast was putting on more of a show during this season, and that there were fewer authentic interactions between them. Yolanda says she didn't want to sit in a particular spot in front of a column in the viewing window, because otherwise she wouldn't be able to see the dancing for 6 hours. She says that this is the reason why she sat in Stacey's seat instead. The producers apparently told Yolanda and Eliana that they were good to go, but then the producers hid her work permit for extra drama.
I wanted to sit in that good spot because if you notice, there were these columns, and if those columns were there, you couldn't see. Like this one, I can't even see who that was right there. She's sitting in a spot where she can't even see the dancers. So if I'm gonna sit there for 6 hours to film 5 minutes,
She's gonna want to see.
I was told that she was good to go with all of her.
But they hid my work permit for extra drama.
Right.
And then suddenly when we said we're leaving, they're like, oh my God, the work permit just arrived.
One thing I had missed was that the OG cast had social media rules too. Christi says that Lifetime actually told her to accept friend requests on Facebook.
We were on Facebook. I remember the first week the show premiered, as I was getting all these requests in and I was accepting them because I was told accept these by the network.
In this video, I defended Yolanda quite a bit, but it was later revealed by Eliana's brother that she has been arrested for domestic abuse, although not convicted. I discussed these accusations in much more detail in Season 3, Episode 3 of Dance Mums Uncovered. Apparently, Mackenzie wasn't going to be part of the show initially, but Melissa insisted that she should join them because she didn't want to leave her at home.
When the show was first cast, Maddie was cast, and Melissa just said, well, Mackenzie absolutely has to do this because I'm not leaving her at home.
In my video, I was trying to find a reasonable explanation that justified Melissa not telling Mackenzie that they were leaving, but it's possible that she simply viewed Maddie as more mature and able to keep a secret. Melissa has, after all, said that Maddie is mature beyond her years on several occasions. And I have no idea whether Melissa's line in this scene was taken out of context like she insisted it was. People still say Melissa favours Maddie, and Melissa says that Mackenzie is actually more loving towards her right now. Melissa says that she promised her kids that she wouldn't speak up for them, which is why she didn't say more when Mackenzie was upset.
People still say you favored Maddie. Mackenzie is just more loving and to me than Maddie is, you know, but they're totally different kids. I don't favor any of my kids.
The production notes confirm that Paige was Chloe's main competition. In fact, the music video directors thought Maddie was too over-the-top, cheesy, and more suitable for Broadway. Paige and Chloe both lip-synced at the microphone because they were the top contenders for the lead. Seven, the producer, visited the ALDC and offered the job before the girls even went to the MSA audition. This aligns with what I said about the auditions being real, but that MSA had nothing to do with them getting the gig with Lux. In the show interviews, Brooke and Holly suggest that the girls were actually auditioning to get signed by the agency. Lux's given name was actually Alexis. It seems like she has social media accounts under the name Lux as well, although none of her social media accounts are currently active. Firstly, Gianna is not close to everyone like I claimed. Just because Gianna appeared at an event with Christi and Chloe does not mean they get along. Christi has said in a Zoom call that Gianna was not nice and just like Abby. Jojo refuted this, saying that Gianna was amazing, and Christi responded saying that this was just not Chloe's experience.
No, Gianna's not nice. Gianna's like Abby. She's just like her. She doesn't try to be our friend or reach out or... somebody goes, did she ever apologize? I'm like, are you kidding?
That is absolutely the most disgusting and ignorant thing that I have heard anybody say. First of all, Gia is one of the sweetest people in the whole world, and second of all, she worked so hard every single week for so many people, including Chloe. She had one of the most stressful jobs on the show. Everyone isn't nice 24/7, including you, Christi.
I never filmed a season with her, so I have to take her word for it. If she had an amazing, positive experience, then I'm really happy that that's how it went. And I honestly just wish mine had been a little similar.
It's true that the show couldn't have happened without her, but she is by no means flawless. She probably did so many nice things for her students, but when Abby hated a student, Gianna piled on. So she wasn't completely separate from the drama like she claimed. Abby says that when she was choosing an assistant for the show, she needed someone who could keep yelling at the kids and someone to have her back through all the drama.
When I'm talking to a mom and screaming and yelling starts, somebody has to be responsible to keep the routine going, to keep yelling at the kids. I needed to trust someone that would do that had my back.
In her podcast, Christi says that something really scandalous happened during the week in Miami. This was probably the Little Tooties comment, because the girls were photographed with new iPads given to them from the producers.
There was some shit that went down that week at the studio before that cannot be talked of. You know what I'm talking about. Cannot be spoken of. Yeah, that was
the time when
scandalous
week. Abby wanted to take the girls because we were going to Miami. And
Holly says that she wanted to pull Nia from Electricity because she felt that it was a pedophile's dream. And Christi wanted to pull Chloe from it too. Apparently during this week there were audience members catcalling the kids. This is why things like the camera work on Chloe, even though it may not have been intentional, still make me nervous. It's just a worrying prospect given what we know about some of the people who were on set. Apparently stalkers would constantly go to the ALDC. In fact, some fans who went to visit said that there was absolutely nothing stopping them from dropping into the studio at random times. Abby has claimed that sometimes after a big fight, the cast would have to talk to a psychologist. But this is the very first I've ever heard of it, so I'm not really sure it's true. I really hope it is though.
There were also psychologists, that when there was a big fight, when something happened, when someone was upset, You had to go and talk to them, whether it was on the phone, whether they were there in person.
So what do you guys think? Do you think that any of my arguments have fallen apart or gotten stronger? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching 50 episodes of Dance Moms Uncovered, and I'll see you next time. Bye.